religion, for serving the Indian state, for displaying the courage to risk taking a bullet to serve all Kashmiris without discrimination. But in the end, he was killed because of his identity. He was discriminated against. He was singled out. He was shot at point blank range because he was a kafir, a non-believer. He is the 11th Hindu in just 36 weeks to have been killed. The 11th Hindu who the state authorities couldn't save. While Islamist hate knows no bounds, the killing wasn't unexpected. It was waiting to happen, and it is just the latest one in a 30-year uninterrupted genocide in Kashmir. Chilling CCTV footage of the attack shows a cowardly, half-hesitant terrorist, hate-monger, stealing into the bank, surreptitiously whipping out his gun, loading it and firing 2 rounds directly at Vijay. Look at that footage. This man is quaking at the knees, and Vijay doesn't turn his back. He doesn't move. He takes those bullets on his chest, viewers. On his chest. And many Kashmiri Hindus have risked their lives, like Vijay, to work for their nation, to work for society, to work for Kashmir's sake, to work, viewers, so that the Indian flag can fly high in the valley. And this is how they are paid back, by bigotry. His grief-stricken father reveals his hopes and dreams before his young life was brutally cut short by Islamist hate. Listen, viewers, to what his father told us. This young man came all the way from Rajasthan to work here. He'd just been married. As I told you, he put it all on hold to serve his country. He's a martyr. Listen in.
पहले पोस्टिंग उनकी क्लर्क के रूप में हुई थी। 1 साल के बाद उन्होंने दोबारा एग्ज़ाम देकर पीओ की पोस्ट की थी। पीओ की पोस्ट जहाँ छोटे छोटे गांवों में बैंक है वहाँ पीओ ही मैनेजर है। मैनेजर की पोस्ट वही कर रहे हैं। अभी ये चल रहा था आगे एग्ज़ाम, उनके पीओ के एग्ज़ाम होते हैं, वो तैयारी कर रहा था आगे ब्रांच मैनेजर बन के फिर कोई और स्टेट में या कहीं भी आने की। हमारी कोशिश तो यही कि राजस्थान में कहीं आ जाए, पर ईश्वर की जो है इच्छा वही होगा।
Om Prakash there, viewers, hapless father. Let's go back to those visuals. Let me show you once again the dastardly and cowardly manner in which Vijay was shot by a person who's certainly not in any way thankful to fellow citizens like Vijay. For doing what, viewers? For safeguarding the savings of millions of Kashmiris, their hard-earned savings. This is what he was in charge of. He wasn't there, viewers, in any which way, as an agent of the state that certain politicians in the valley so revile. He wasn't there doing any of that. He was there to look after Kashmiris and their savings, manage their precious savings. And this is what he got for his effort. After his murder, an Islamist outfit put out a statement taking responsibility for his killing and sending out an ominous warning to other Hindus. Our cadres eliminated a non-local bank manager, Vijay Kumar. Look at that word, non-local. Non-local. Look at the hate, viewers, for anyone from a different identity, persuasion. Anyone changing, it goes on to say, the demography of Kashmir will meet the same fate. This is not, viewers, about any unmet, unrequited needs that have not been fulfilled by the state. This is a hate crime. This is racism. And it goes on to say, this note, it's an eye-opener for non-locals who are living in a fool's paradise. It's not too late. Otherwise, next turn will be yours. This is some Kashmir freedom fighters. These are not fighters, viewers. Fighters fight armies. These are cowards. This is a cowards association that go after the defenseless, the softest targets. Those viewers who are actually doing great work in Kashmir. The Hindu minority in Kashmir now say enough is enough. Many pledged to leave the valley, and I'm going to show you some pictures of some residents, Kashmiri Hindus, if we can put those visuals out, it would be nice, picking up their bags and wanting to leave the valley. And if they do, viewers, this will be the second time. And they will once again never return. This will be a second exodus. Hear them voice their darkest fears. Listen in.
भट्ट साहब की तहसील ऑफिस में आकर आइडेंटिफाई करके गोली मार दी जाती है। तो आप बताइए, एक तहसील ऑफिस सिक्योर नहीं है तो वो जो फॉर फ्लंग में हमारे लड़के काम कर रहे हैं वो कैसे सिक्योर होंगे?
हम ट्रांसफर चाहते हैं, हम अपने होम डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ट्रांसफर चाहते हैं। हमारे माँ बाप हैं, बूढ़े हैं, बुजुर्ग हैं, हम 15-15 साल से जॉब कर रहे हैं और हमें अच्छी जॉब की है। जब तक हमें कुछ यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं हुआ, ऐसा कोई टेरर मतलब की टाइप का कुछ नहीं हुआ, उन लोगों ने हमें भरपूर साथ दिया।
ट्रांसफर चाहते हैं, हमारी वहाँ से यहाँ पे
हम ट्रांसफर चाहते हैं,
वहाँ पे नहीं नौकरी करनी, हमको ट्रांसफर चाहिए, हमको बस ओनली ट्रांसफर।
हम चाहते हैं उनकी सिक्योरिटी हो जाए और वो कश्मीर में ही रहे। हम नहीं चाहते वो यहाँ से निकले। वो हमारे भाई है और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का फॉल्ट है। बार बार उनको खोखले वादे किए गए उनके साथ और हम चाहते हैं कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जल्द से जल्द कोई स्टेप उठाए, उनको सिक्योर करे।
आप देखिए, पिछले 1 महीने से 7 लोगों की 7 सिविलियनों की जान चली गई। इस पे कोई ये नहीं हो रहा है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कहाँ है, कहाँ इनको सेव कर रहे हैं वो।
Now, viewers, ironically, those who have patronized terror, etc., these individuals are obviously sitting here and boasting about this achievement. Killing the unarmed, for them, is an achievement, viewers. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? But nonetheless, this killing, just like the others, has sparked a vicious political fight. Listen in.
जो गलती 1989 में हमने की थी, वो गलती वही उसी लाइन पर गलती नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार कर रही है। आप सिर्फ पिक्चर बनाने में प्रमोशन में आप ये समझ रहे कि कश्मीरी पंडित का हमला पिक्चर प्रमोशन से होगा। अब आप देख लो, खमियाजा भुगतना पड़ रहा था आपको। और ये हो गया कि रात में आपको जहां पर हमारे कश्मीरी पंडित रहते हैं वहां पर उनको आपको बंद करना पड़ रहा, उनको भागने से रोकना पड़ रहा आपको।
निहत्थे बेकसूर लोगों को पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादी निशाना बना रहे हैं। सेलेक्टिव टारगेटेड किलिंग्स, जिसमें कश्मीर के अंदर काम कर रहे हिंदुओं को और सिखों को तथा कश्मीर के अंदर जो देशभगत मुसलमान हैं उनको निशाना बनाने की एक साजिश हो रही है।
1990 viewers, central rule, the LG Jagmohan was in charge. Today, 2022, 32 years later, another LG, the center in charge, LG Sinha, is being asked fervent questions by Kashmiri Hindus themselves. But viewers, when we put a mic asking the J&K LG what he thought about these killings, he gave us no response. Let's play this out.
The innocent lives being going in Kashmir, sir, what do you have to say? Sir, another Hindu life was taken out today in Kashmir, sir, what do you have to say to that? Sir, are you going to meet Amit Shah tomorrow? What's your plan, sir?
Not a squeak, viewers, from the Lieutenant Governor. Not one word even of sympathy or compassion. I don't think that's in great taste. Let's open this up. Gaurav Bhatia, National Spokesperson of the BJP, is with us. Javed Beg, Sunanda Vashisht, Major General Bakshi, Sushil Pandit, Imran Nabi Dar. Let me begin with you first, Mr. Bhatia. Can the centre today absolve itself of any responsibility? Can it maintain a stoic silence like the LG is maintaining? Can it duck questions? Mr. Bhatia.
First of all, Rahul, deepest condolences to the family that had to face this, and it is very unfortunate, and Bharatiya Janata Party and all Indians are standing with the family of Mr. Vijay Kumar. Second, you said we are absolving ourselves from the responsibility. Nobody is. Shri Narendra Modi ji has always led from the front, and I think there is no doubt in our minds that the responsibility lies with us, and we have to ensure that we provide a conducive environment for the minorities in Kashmir. You are aware that a meeting took place today where the National Security Advisor had met the Home Minister's office personnel, and important decisions have been taken. And let me spell it out, that our priority remains of protecting every Kashmiri, every Indian. Second, security will be increased. Third, postings will be made to the district headquarters, because that has been the demand of the Hindus and the Sikhs there. And last but not the least, the cluster living that has started, we have to ensure that everyone is safe. And most importantly, these terrorists will be gunned down and they will have to face the consequences, as was done in the case of Rahul Bhatt. Within 24 hours, the terrorist was brought down. In the case of Amreen Bhatt also, within 48 hours, the terrorist was gunned down. And I am saying this with some responsibility, that it is our duty to assuage the feelings of the people living in Kashmir and to give them this sense of confidence that they are safe. And we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that.
If you accept responsibility, which you say you are accepting, who is then being made accountable? Who is going to be made accountable, Mr. Bhatia? Where does the buck stop? At the LG's door, at the centre's door?
Rahul,
who is going to be made accountable?
I will answer that. Rahul, let me say this again, that you said the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha ji was being evasive. It's not a sign of evasiveness. It's a very sensitive situation. There are important deliberations that are taking place. Some strong decisions are being taken. So I would say he is handling the situation with responsibility. But the Bharatiya Janata Party is voicing its opinion through its spokespersons.
Mr. Bhatia, I asked you a question. You accepted responsibility, which is honest of you. If you have accepted responsibility, surely these lives matter. Each Indian life lost there in the service of the Indian state.
Every life matters.
And who goes, exactly, each life that matters. Who is then being made accountable for the fact that lives are lost? Who is going to be made accountable from the state administration? It's not as if the Kashmiri Hindus have not been saying that they are unprotected or they feel unprotected and they are vulnerable. So if someone keeps ignoring their apprehensions and lives are lost, as you say, each life is important, who then is to be made accountable for these lives lost?
Rahul, I would not give you a knee-jerk reaction. I would only say this with utmost humility, that effective steps are being taken and whoever is accountable will also be punished and he will be penalized. But let me say this also now. I want to raise a point. You know, why is it that when the nation has to unite, because you would agree the nation should unite, it's a united front that we have to show. We see opposition political parties, Rahul Gandhi tweeting, he is trying to make it political. Asaduddin Owaisi, again trying to make it political. I am asking Rahul on your show, should every Indian not unite? Should Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah also not do dirty politics and stand behind these families? Is it too much to ask for? Or should they be siding with a terrorist nation like Pakistan? Should they be siding with the terrorists? Not even whisper a word on this sad, unfortunate, murder that has taken place. This also is an area of concern which I raised through your program.
So you're saying that these opposition parties are emboldening the radicals because they think they have tacit support. Okay, we'll come to that part. Viewers, there are three strands to this. Let me tell you. There is the Pakistan factor. There is also the internal security factor. And internal security right now has to be managed by the center. And then, of course, there are those who give pious homilies, who talk about, for example, Islamophobia in the rest of India, but are silent about Hindu phobia in the valley. That is a fact. And by giving this sort of cover fire, rationalization, etc., saying that, oh, there's a son of a maths teacher who has carried out these killings, etc., they are emboldening these forces. No doubt about that. We'll come to those aspects. I just want to first bring in Sunanda Vashisht and Sushil Pandit, who are representatives of the long-suffering Kashmiri Hindu community, viewers. Sunanda Vashisht, we heard Gaurav Bhatia. Are you satisfied with what Gaurav Bhatia is saying, at least on the issue of responsibility and accountability? Or do you think that on accountability, the center is not giving us clear answers?
Here is the problem. My problem is the government at the moment is not even understanding the magnitude of this problem. The magnitude of this problem is that we are against a jihad, an Islamist jihad, a jihad that has led to a genocide. You cannot deal with jihad as a law and order problem. Why is it? Think about it for a moment. Just give me 30 seconds. Look at how Rahul Bhatia is killed. Look at how Rajni Bala is killed, and look at how the bank manager Vijay Kumar is killed. They are all killed. Rahul Bhatia in his office, in Tehsildar's office. A bank manager in his office where there should have been security. Have you ever seen a bank without a security? Have you ever been allowed into a bank without checking? Anytime I go into a bank, even in Delhi, my purse is checked. Why do these mishaps happen? Rajni, somebody knew exactly what time Rajni Bala would be dropped by there, because she probably used to come at the same time, and somebody shot her. There is no collateral damage. The recce has been done, people have been identified. What does this tell you? This tells you there is a collusion. There is a collusion. There is a subversion of administrative level and at a very low bureaucratic level. That is jihad. That is jihad, because that is what they do. And are we going to treat it as a law and order situation? We cannot, because every time, I have no doubt in my mind, as Mr. Bhatia said, that these people will be killed. I am sure they will be killed. I am sure these are young boys who pick up pistols, and I'm sure they'll be killed in 24 to 48 hours. I have full faith in Indian Army. But then there are 400 people ready to pick up pistols. What are we going to do about that? I have information, and I just follow Kashmir. I'm just a political commentator. But even I have information that there are about 50 pistols right now in Kulgam area. Even I know that information. So clearly pistols have been distributed. We do not know who is the another hit. Last time, after Rajni Bala was murdered, promotional material from TRF, which is just another alphabet soup for Lashkar-e-Toiba, that came out, and that had a picture of a Kashmiri Hindu on it. I have never seen a promotional material of a jihadi outfit that had a picture of a Kashmiri Hindu on it.
Okay.
Clearly, we know that they are on the hit list. We know this is nothing new. We have to deal jihad as a jihad. We have to find.
And you believe that the government is not addressing it. And you believe that the government is not addressing it as if it were a jihad. Is that what are you saying? What's the point?
They are not understanding this warfare.
Okay.
This jihad.
They're not
warfare
understanding this warfare. Okay. I'll bring in General Bakshi in 30 seconds. And I'll also bring in Javed Beg. But before that, Sushil Pandit. Yes, Sushil Pandit. You heard the BJP spokesperson. You've heard the LG. Actually, the LG you didn't hear. You just saw him.
No, this was deafening silence. I heard him. I heard the LG. Of course. You know, it pierced my ears, his silence. Who couldn't hear him? But coming back to what Mr. Gaurav Bhatia said, I'll take your indulgence for about a minute, Rahul. I'll take you back about 6-7 years, when in Kashmir Valley, Rahul Bhatia's party was in bed with PDP. And they, in their healing touch approach, started celebrating, allowing the celebrations in terms of funerals, those frenzied funerals that jihad would give a send-off to its martyrs, quote unquote. And I would scream my lungs out, please don't do this. This creates a halo of herohood and it becomes a recruiting ground for new jihadis. Today, these late teens and early 20s pistol-wielding killers is the crop we are harvesting from those frenzied funerals. The teenagers, early teens of those years, facilitated by PDP and BJP, giving a halo of martyrs to those marauders, those jihadis killed in encounter. Well, today, we are reaping the whirlwind of the wind that we sowed then. This is how nations pay for the experiments that are conducted. This is how we pay for cockeyed policies that are unleashed on us. For example, the same LG who gave a deafening silence to your questions had announced yesterday that these employees will be shifted to district headquarters, as if district headquarters are any safer. Even Srinagar, the capital, is not safe. Nischal was killed in Srinagar. Mr. Mehra's son of Krishna Dhaba was killed in Srinagar. Shujat Bukhari was killed in Srinagar. The teacher, Deepak Chand. I mean, all these killings took place in the heart of Srinagar, like Neelkant Ganju was killed in Srinagar. Tikalal Taplu was killed in Srinagar, as if these targeted killings is a new phenomenon. We've seen these targeted killings 32 years ago.
Okay.
And they continue. So the point
cockeyed
is,
policies,
we should not...
The lionization of these jihadis because of an opportunistic alliance with the PDP. Mr. Bhatia, quick response. I also want to remind viewers, and I will want to riff off that when I come to you, Mr. Bhatia. The Home Minister, February 2021, vowed to resettle Hindus in the valley by 2022. Well, the year is upon us, but what are we seeing? We are seeing Hindus packing their bags and at some levels being locked up in their colonies, being prevented from leaving. We're seeing those pictures. If Nizam Bhai, you'd be kind enough to just put them on air. In October 2021, the LG vowed to resolve all security concerns in 1 week. In October 2021. So, Mr. Bhatia, if the LG vowed, he's clearly failed. What happens to the LG? Is he doing a good job?
Okay. Rahul, let me just respond to the two speakers before you ask me this question. I'll respond to your question as well. Sunanda ji very rightly pointed out that this is a jihad and it's not a law and order situation. Sunanda ji, we don't view it as a law and order situation, and it can be seen from the fact that AFSPA, which is a special act, empowers the army, armed forces, has been invoked there. And also, remember the kind of opposition that we face in the name of secularism, in the name of democracy, because there is a political party, Congress party, which wanted ASPA to be revoked. Second, you would recall, Sunanda ji, when a historic decision like Article 370 abrogation was taken, even blocking the internet became an issue with the opposition parties. But yet the government acted. We ensured that not a single human life is lost, and we were able to take this historic decision. To Sushil Pandit ji, I would only like to say this. Sushil ji, you are right. We formed the government with PDP, but it was the Bharatiya Janata Party that realized its mistake, withdrew the support that we had extended, and also we were never shying away from taking important decisions in the interest of the country. And let me give you an example. 30th of May 2017, the Home Ministry gave clearance for registering a case against Yasin Malik, the result of which is that Yasin Malik today is facing life imprisonment. So yes, there are issues that can be debated, but never have we ever compromised with national interest. Third, what you said, Rahul, let us not add fuel to fire by propagating what Asaduddin Owaisi has also said, that there is exodus that is taking place. No. This government will stand with the people of Kashmir, especially the minority there. Not a single Indian will have to leave. And important decisions are being taken as we discuss this. And I'm sure that strong measures will be taken to ensure the safety of the Hindus, the Sikhs, the Jain, the Bauds, and
Mr.
the
Bhatia,
Christians.
if the killing continues,
Every Ind belongs to us.
My very pointed question, I want to bring in General Bakshi also, very importantly. Yes. Mr. Bhatia, if the killing continues, and I hope to God it doesn't, but if it does, who is accountable? That's the question. Whose head should roll in the administration? Without the fear of that, unfortunately, you know, this is Indian phrase, chalta hai, continues. That cannot be the approach, surely. Mr. Bhatia, did you hear me?
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir. Who is accountable?
Yeah, okay.
Whose head will...
Rahul, I don't wish to answer a hypothetical question, but I would just say one thing, that we would ensure that all the terrorists who are trying to wage a war, because I consider it as waging a war against our country, are gunned down, and we don't lose a single precious human life. That is our responsibility, and we would do every bit in our command to ensure that safety.
I don't think anyone can fault any Indian government
every bit
from carrying out a relentless war on terror. I think everyone has done it within reasonable capacities. Some have done a lot more, some have underwhelmed, but nonetheless the intent was to wage war on terror. There have been some governments,
Prime Ministers in the past have even met Yasin Malik at their residence.
There have been some governments who prevaricated, held back by politics. Viewers have even tweeted about that today, but that I just want to leave out of the equation. When it comes to accountability, I'm not getting any clear answers. You see, when there are law and order situations, in Uttar Pradesh, the opposition asks for the head of the UP Chief Minister. When there is law and order situation in Rajasthan, the BJP, who is the opposition there, will ask for the head of the Chief Minister. Here, viewers, there is one person who runs the state, and from all accounts, viewers, there has to be accountability, must begin from the top. General Bakshi, I want to bring you into this. I want to bring in Javed Beg and also Mr. Dar of the National Conference. But first, General Bakshi. General Bakshi, where is it going wrong for us? We made a promise. We want our Hindu brothers. We want Indians from all quarters of this country, Christians, even Muslims, to go and work in Kashmir. We want to build a Naya Kashmir. Where is it going wrong? General Bakshi.
Rahul, I speak with a great sense of responsibility because I've spent more than half my life in J&K. I have fought in the Punjab, I fought in J&K not once but 3 consecutive tenures. So what I'm saying stems from a great deal of on-ground experience. So please listen to me. I think one of the best steps that have been taken in recent decades has been the removal of 370 and 35A.
Yes.
Now we need to follow it up with very aggressive measures on the ground. You see, we have an unfortunate habit of declaring premature victory and going back to the good old ways because we don't want as Indians to look bad. The Russians don't give a damn what the Chechens think, what their opponents think, what the Ukrainians think. If they think their national interests are involved, then they don't give a damn about international public opinion or United States or any other Western NGO. The simple fact is, we take the pressure off prematurely. Now let me give you facts. Please, I would like to get this discussion to rational levels, right? When we said we'll get the Pandits back, all of us security forces people advised, please take them back in protected camps, kibbutzim like the Israelis do. Arm some of them, like we did in Kishtwar. We had village defense committees. Imagine if if the terrorist is down to fighting with a pistol, and if that bank manager had a pistol, he could have equally shot that chap back. But we get to a goody-goody, we are so nice, we are so good, now we will apply the healing touch, this nasty army of ours, we will put it back into the barracks. So then I'm afraid you have fallen into the trap of these so-called centrist parties. You have fallen into the trap of these so-called centrist parties who said if the Pandits come back, they will have to come back to the same villages they left. It was a prescription for disaster. Why do we have to listen to these Gupkar gang? Take your decision. Damn it, don't be worried about what the Americans will say or what Netherlands will say. We have to be harsh. We have to be proactive. We have to recognize that the problem stems from across the border. We were crying hoarse on your programs. Rahul, why have you given Pakistan a ceasefire at the time when the ISI was trying to take over Kabul? We paved the way for the taking over of Kabul by taking military pressure off. And whenever you take military pressure off, let me give you a bit of history. There was General Zaki, very well-intentioned, right? He said, don't fire on the LSE. I'm fighting a war in the valley. And that was a disaster. When we activated the line of control, when we hit across LC after Uri, when we hit across the international border after Pulwama, you saw the results. We got a window of opportunity to do away with Article 35A and 370. Why have you taken the military pressure off? For God's sake, the problem is there. What you are seeing on our side is only the effects. Don't get into consequence management. Please don't get defensive. I implore you, Bhatia Saab, please take this message back to the government from us old soldiers. Don't get defensive. If you get defensive, we will have to pay a price. Don't lose the initiative. You had done so well. Why did you roll back?
Okay.
Don't roll back. Put them in defended colonies. Give them weapons. They would also like to fight back. Just don't say ki we will prevent you from escaping. God, give them weapons. Give them a fighting chance. Please be offensive.
Okay.
Attack is the best form of defense.
General
My
Bakshi's
37 years in the
prescription,
army
he doesn't
has taught
mince
me
his
this.
words.
I was in Kishtwar.
Yes. You were there. You were there, General, and you were in the
There
trenches.
was a similar 60-40 situation.
Yeah.
There was an exodus of Hindus from there.
Viewers, let me tell you one
Not
thing.
only did we stop that,
Let me
we
just say
ensured
one thing to you,
everybody
viewers.
came
I'm
back.
going to share.
I'm speaking
I'm going
from
to share
experience.
an insight. General Rawat, when he was Army Chief, I met him. I met him when the incident happened. The human shield, so to speak, was taken. And many people said, oh gosh, look, look, look. How bad the Indian state is. It's an abuser of human rights. And General Rawat told me, had he been there, he would have opened fire. He in fact saluted the Major Gogoi. He said, had it been me, I would have opened fire and taught these characters a lesson. Maybe, viewers, maybe that's why General Rawat was celebrated in this country. Javed Beg, who do you fault? Who do you fault, Javed Beg? I want to ask you. You represent Kashmir civil society. Who do you fault? Who do you fault, sir?
Thank you, Rahul. I want to put across my views in 2 minutes, please. See, the National Party seems hopeless. Administration seems clueless. Majority community seems heartless. Minority is restless. And Kashmir is being Talibanized. A dirty ideology, a filthy ideology, which is supported by Pakistan, has turned Kashmir again into hell. This is not limited to Hindu phobia now. It has crossed Hindu phobia. Yes, Hindu phobia is there because a substantial percentage of majority community is following this ideology, this filthy ideology. This terror ecosystem is not limited to these pockets. It is very much into our system. There are people in the system who hate anybody and everybody who is pro-nationalist, who is speaking sense, who is advocating humanity, who is a supporter of Kashmir. I feel threatened now. Everyone. I have just come from a candlelight vigil which we organized in front of UNO, and I was like, you know,
Javed Sahab, why are you a rare exception? Why are you a rare exception? Where is civil society, this so-called civil society in Kashmir that talks about human rights? Where is the majority community there today?
Very unfortunate, Rahul. This is, I think, our society is doomed. Civil society should have come on the roads to stop our Kashmiri Pandits. They are very much Kashmiris as Javed and anyone else is. And I am so ashamed of our political class, the mainstream political class. They have started playing dirty politics. They have started releasing statements which are actually radicalizing even a common Kashmiri. It's not only terror ecosystem. The ecosystem of our mainstream parties, I feel ashamed of them. They have become like Talibans now. They are issuing statements which will actually create more mess.
Well,
I feel literally shattered now.
Then General Bakshi, I think, has the answers.
Silence of majority community.
General Bakshi has the answers. There is, as Sunanda Vashisht was saying, collusion at play. And collusion suggests, viewers, that there is support, tacit support. So as I began by saying, around the country they point out Islamophobia, they point out discrimination, but there, viewers, they are silent. And that's because they are playing to a plot, perhaps internationally directed. I don't even know if there are other world powers who are tacitly giving these people support because they really want India to get bogged down in Kashmir, divert all our resources to fighting an unseen enemy in Kashmir. There is a choice. General Bakshi has spelled that choice out. Let's stop bothering about these NGOs. General Bakshi, yes. I'll leave the 30 seconds to you. Final word to you, sir. Yes, General Sir.
You know, Rahul, there is a concerted ISI offensive called K2.
Yes.
They are trying to revive the terrorism in the valley and in Punjab.
Yeah.
Rocket launchers. The Americans have thoughtfully left behind $40 billion worth of weapons. How long before it finds its way across here?
True.
Do you want to wait till then? Or do you want to preempt? React. Make Pakistan bear the costs and consequences for every drop of blood that is shed here. Go for the root causes. You know, people talk of root causes here. They're the root causes across.
Yeah.
And may I please request the government, don't weaken your will. Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Be offensive. Attack is the best form of defense.
Well, General Saab, trust you to put it pithily, but without, viewers, any caveats. Time has come. Time has come. And that's the one thing we don't have anymore. So seize the moment. Let's move on, viewers, because there's another massive debate that is raging across the country. The push for one nation, one law. The UCC is getting stronger day by day in a renewed